Okay, so one of the main reasons that people miss out on a gap year experience is because it's very expensive. And of course, it is. But today we're going to talk about what you can do to make your gap year seem more affordable and to help you save up to have the gap year experience. Okay, so I've divided it into 7 different categories for you to make it seem less overwhelming. First off, you've got your project fee with AV. Now, this covers a £20 weekly budget for you that's to help with your weekly food shop and transport around the weekend. You obviously have your accommodation. You have transport to and from school by Boda, which is motorbike. And you have the support from Grace and Alfan, who are 2 people who will come and be checking in on you. Okay, obviously this is a lot of money, but you do pay it off in chunks. So it makes it feel less overwhelming and less intimidating because it doesn't all leave your bank account at one point. You also, for the money you pay, obviously, as I just talked about, you do get a lot for it. And you also get very well looked after. You have Grace, who lives in Nairobi. Obviously, this is specific to Kenya. But the support is similar across the board with AV projects. You have Grace, who lives in Kenya, who will come and check in on you once a week to once every fortnight. And you have Alfan, who lives just down the road, who's also there to check in on you and look after you. And if you need any help or support, they will be there. Okay, so now we've got the project fee. Let's talk about other expenses. You've got your flights. So for me, I flew from Heathrow to Nairobi, and then from Nairobi to Ukunda, which is in the southeast of Kenya by the sea, which is only a half an hour car journey from the local village where you'll be staying. There to Kenya and back to England cost me this much. Okay, another thing I've included in here are your experiences. So obviously you don't get to go to Kenya or go halfway across the world every day. So you don't want to miss out on these amazing experiences because you're worried about your money. So it's best to include them in your budget so you can do every opportunity when you get there. So for me and my group, we did a safari, and then 2 of us did Mount Kenya, and both of them were amazing, and I would 1,000% recommend doing them because they were just once in a lifetime experiences. So this is a giraffe from our safari, and it was really cool. And this is us climbing Mount Kenya. Let me show you some views. Here's one halfway up, and this is at 6 o'clock in the morning, the sunrise at the top of Mount Kenya, like absolutely unreal. And both of those I was hesitant to do because they were both expensive, but I'm so glad I did them because those are memories that will stay with me forever. Next category are jabs. So you have to pay for these, and I did mine through a private healthcare provider, but if you also do them through the NHS, you have to pay because you're going on holiday. So these are the ones that are a necessity for you to get: diphtheria, hepatitis A, hepatitis B booster, typhoid, yellow fever. So a lot of places you have to have a yellow fever passport, a lot of countries around Africa, and if you don't have that, they won't let you through. So that is like a must. Tetanus, and they give you malaria pills. So in total, I would estimate this costed me around this much. And that's obviously very important that you do have those vaccines. That's not something you can skip. Okay, this category is equipment, and this completely depends on what you have and if you already have these items at home. So I bought a mosquito net just to be safe, but the accommodation we were staying in with AV does have mosquito nets, so that's not a necessity, and you should speak to the AV team beforehand to decide if you need to bring that or not. And the second thing I bought was a backpack. However, you can bring a suitcase. I just was doing travelling afterwards and I was doing another project, so I thought it'd be easier to carry all in my backpack. So I've spent around this much on my equipment. Something that I'd recommend you include in your budget, which is the next category, is money for the weekend. So often we would either go to Diani or Mombasa, or some people went to Kilifi, which are local places near us, around an hour and a half away from where we were staying. These places were by the beach, you could drink, there were lovely hostels, like nice places like that. It was quite nice to get away for the weekend and explore different parts of Kenya. So that can actually rack up quite a lot of money. So this is what I recommend you save, because you've got 12 weeks, which gives you £50 per week, which is this much. And also people did activities like tubing, you can go windsurfing, sailing, you can do paddleboarding, canoeing, all of these activities at the weekend, and you don't want to miss out because you haven't budgeted enough money. Okay, last but not least on items that you should include in your budget is travel. So solo traveling can feel really daunting. I don't know, you might like the idea of that. But AV offers the idea of extending for a month and going traveling with the other volunteers who you've already spent 3 months living with, so you feel comfortable and friendly with them. And it's great, you have someone or multiple people to go and explore Tanzania or Kenya, Nairobi, wherever you would like. This can be as long as you want, and it depends on the other people that are going as well. Me and someone else in my group, we did a month. We went to Tanzania and then we came back and climbed Mount Kenya. And I would say roughly, I think I spent about this much, and that's on food / eating out, taxis, like to get places. Obviously, we don't have a car, and places to spend the night and experiences. So, but definitely, again, it's definitely worth it because this is such a unique opportunity to go travel and to see these places. So it's definitely worth saving the money and doing it. Okay, obviously the total on the screen is very, very daunting and it is a lot of money. But let me break it down for you and tell you how it is affordable if you work hard. So it depends when you leave for your project, but I left in January. So that gave me September till the middle of January to earn money for my gap year. And I managed to pay for it all myself, and you can too if you want to. Let's do some maths here. So say you get paid £10 an hour and you work 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's a 45-hour week. Say you start earning money first week of September. That leaves you the summer to relax and enjoy finishing your exams. And then come September, people will be thinking about uni. So if you start September and you finish the end of the first week of January, that gives you 17 weeks. That allows 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year to relax. 17 weeks times 45 hours a week is, from what I've worked out, if you do a 45-hour week for 17 weeks across September to the middle of January, you will earn this much. If you follow what I've said, and again, they're just rough suggestions for your expenses and for your budgeting, your total will be this much. It seems like a big number, but if you compare it to how much you earn in 17 weeks, it is doable and you can pay for it. Having done a gap year myself and having spent the money and bit the bullet and gone, oh gosh, that's expensive, it is so worth it. You are only young once. You only have the opportunity to drop everything with no attachments and leave and travel. And AV make it so easy and they look after you. And if you want my advice, I would go for it. Honestly, you're not going to regret having done the gap year and having spent the money, because the experiences you do will be amazing, and the people you meet and the nature you see and the teachers, oh my God, they're lovely. But you will regret if you don't take a gap year and you see other people traveling and you see, oh my gosh, this other side of the world that you've never experienced before. You'll be like, oh, I had that opportunity and I never got to take it, and I'm not going to have the chance to take that again. And yes, you can say, oh, I'll travel after uni, but after uni it gets quite expensive and you've got student bills. So my opinion is go for it. But yeah.